Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Toronto Express for astrology lovers, specifically for someone who's learning or trying to learn the very basics of astrology. So welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the next video in the series of Saturn transit to different ascendants and moon sign. So today we are going to talk about Saturn's transit from Gemini ascendant, that's basically Mithun Rashi, or Gemini moon sign. As I've told you before, the transit, whether to look from ascendant and or moon sign, is really important. You can know this in what I will make a video, a separate, completely separate video once I'm done through the series of Saturn and Jupiter. But there are other videos available on YouTube as well, which may probably explain why you should look for ascendant and or moon sign. A lot of people put a lot of emphasis saying that only look from the ascendant or only look from the moon sign. No, it is not like that. Sometimes it's only moon, sometimes it's only ascendant, and sometimes it's a mix of ascendant and moon. Like there could be a ratio of 50 to 60%. I've done a lot of research. On different celebrities, horoscopes. I've gone through their entire lives, picked major events, and I've seen in some celebrities it happens when there's transits from the ascendant, and in some it's from the moon sign. So it kind of varies. Okay, so let's get back to it. So regardless, the first most important thing is if you're a Gemini ascendant, that's Mithun Rashi or Mithun Lagna, you have to go through this video and see if any of this, you should be anticipating this happening in your life as well. So let's get back on it. First things first, Gemini ascendant or a moon sign. What does Gemini signify? Gemini is twins. Okay, so as you can see there, their twins are Castor and Pollux in Greek mythology. One was the son of the king of Sparta. So one was the king of Sparta, his son. Castor, though they were both twins and born to the same mother, but they had two different fathers. One is of god Zeus. Pollux is the son of Zeus, and Castor was the son of king of Sparta. So they're really good looking, they're young, they're energetic, they're adventurous. So these are the signs or significations of Gemini, because it's a natural significator of third house, third sign. So Gemini ascendant or Gemini moon sign people are more energetic. They're also always trying to always make sure that they look good. They're kind of conscious about the way they dress and so on, and how they carry themselves. And they're usually, when you interact with a Gemini ascendant or a Gemini moon sign, they're usually have a demeanor of young people, as opposed to someone from Saturn who would, regardless of what age they are, you would always feel that there's something about them that makes them more mature aged. As opposed to Gemini or Mercury ascendant people, they're more young and youthful. Okay, so let's get on with it. So for the Gemini ascendant Saturn, as usual, Saturn is going to transit from Capricorn sign for the next 2.5 years. It only came in January 23rd, 2020, or 24, depending on where you are. So it happens one time. So the date could be different for you where you are. So Gemini. For Gemini, Capricorn is the 8th house, okay? And then from the 8th house, it's going to aspect your 10th house, it's going to aspect your 2nd house and the 5th house. So what is the impact of of Saturn's transit through that? So let's get on with it and take a look at it. So first things first, okay. So as you can see, so if you are any ascendant, but if you want to see if you're Gemini moon sign, what you may want to have a look or try and do is, if on a piece of paper, just write 3 number in the center at the first house, and then just from there you can write 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. And whatever house you wrote 3 in the first house, that's the first house. The sign in it is 3, that is Gemini. However, it is your first house from the moon sign, or it could be your ascendant. And even if it's your ascendant, if you're Mithun Lagna people, even then you should listen to this. All you have to remember this, that all that I'm going to talk about today, it's going to all depend on also the fact that what planets are already sitting in your houses. So what planet is sitting in your eighth house? What's the planet sitting in your 10th house, second house, and the fifth house? These are this will differ in every chart or most of the charts. There could be some charts where these are blank. In those charts, you can go ahead and apply what I'm saying. But if there is any other planet, there's going to be significant mild to significant variation from what I'm saying. Regardless of that, it is going to affect those houses. So we're going to talk about that today. So first things first, as I've already told you before, but I'm going to just go through it again for Gemini. Maybe you didn't take a look at my previous videos. So Saturn stands for delay. It stands for responsibility. Saturn gives you a critical viewpoint of life. It usually dries up your resources before it fills it up. In terms of humor, it's a very sarcastic or dry humor. They're very kind of practical approach. So this is a planet of adjustments with the reality, lessons to be learned, and of responsibility towards self and those around you. So that's basically Saturn. Okay, it's responsibility. It will tell you what you are supposed to do, what you're supposed to do for people around you. Saturn's influence can be heavy on those who take life as it comes, people without insurance or backup plans, and will turn the individual's attention to reality and things that matter. Saturn also signifies old age and death. It is also Karaka for new beginning. Saturn is also your actions, basically karma. Um, its intention is to make the person more mature about life and circumstances surrounding life. Saturn makes you slow compared to your usual self. So maybe you're someone usually who makes quick decisions and so on and so forth. But when Saturn starts making its influence on you, you will become more careful. You will become more pragmatic. It also makes you frugal. It makes you secretive, thrift, realistic, hard worker. Now, depending on what's the dignity of your Saturn, how powerful your Saturn is, what dasha you're going through. Saturn can make you lethargic, or it can make you a hard worker. Okay, so it depends how your Saturn is. It will when Saturn is blessed in your horoscope. There's no one who gets more money than who gives more money than Saturn in itself. So Saturn is amazing when it comes to giving money. If Saturn is badly placed or it has a bad influence on it, Saturn will cause you a lot of fear. You may stop taking any decision at all. You will be, someone who would, resign from every aspects of life. It will take you to laziness. It will make you lazy, separate you from your close circle of friends and family, and make you poor as well. So it is one of the, as you would call it, is one of the karakas for making poor people. So poor people are represented by Saturn. People who are injured or handicapped, these people are also signified by Saturn. So you better be good with these people, because if you want blessings from Saturn, per se blessings, then you may want to have treat them good. Okay. So the first things first, Saturn, as I said, Saturn, the Capricorn sign, as you can see here in the previous video slide, Saturn is sitting here, right here. This is your eighth house, okay? So eighth house, what does eighth house signify? That's what we're going to see. And how does it change? What is the influence of Saturn? So Saturn's transit through eighth house can be difficult. It is also popularly known in Hindi as Dhaya. Dhaya is basically 2.5 years, what we call in Hindi. So Dhaya, which stands for 2.5 years of difficult transit through your fourth house and or eighth house from moon or ascendant. Okay, so whenever Saturn comes from, when it's moving, and then it comes to your eighth house, that's when it's called Daya. Also, when it's on the fourth house, it's called Daya as well. So eighth house focuses. What is eighth house? Okay, let's focus on that. So eighth house is ups and downs, inheritance, overall health. Ayurbhava is basically your longevity. In-laws, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law's house, resources of your spouse. So basically, it could be if you have a working spouse, if you have a non-working spouse, if you have a working spouse, then the savings account, or the checking account, or the money that she brings in. If she's not working, then it could be something that she does with her hand, or how she supports you, or maybe it could also be your health, your spouse's health, and how she contributes to your well-being. So all those things will is also signified by eighth house. Chronic diseases. Chronic disease is basically um, it's something that's uh, takes a long time for you to cure. So that's a chronic disease. Hidden treasures, hidden truth, scandals, all the big scandals that are hidden, and all of a sudden they come to surface. Their scandals are of eighth house. Underground activities, including selling drugs, buying drugs, being a drug addict, or something that is not out in the public. Your sex scandals, magic, magicians, astrology, occult sciences, fears, etc. Everything is eighth house. Okay. Now, Rishi Parashar was one of the guys, one of the gurus who started um, Vedic astrology. He's not the original. The one who absolutely started was Brigu, but these are the what do you call a lineage and the students of Brigu eventually. So Parashar, Rishi is basically how we call guru in Hindi. So Rishi Parashar said eighth house stands for longevity. It stands for battle because the kingdoms, when the king's kingdom is going to be in trouble, usually he would see that Saturn is transiting through his eighth house because you're going to lose your position. That's eighth house. Enemies. It also shows forts. As I said, it's from the old time. Wealth of the dead and things. So it's basically your insurance money. It's basically your inheritance, the money from estate. Someone's passing away that have happened or are to happen in the past or future births if you believe in reincarnation and or ancestral deeds. Now remember, in one of the videos before that I've already made that I'm going to link you up here, will tell you the difference between how all your charts are correlated. Okay, none of your charts, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, even if you have a stepbrother, stepsister, if you adopted a kid, you would be astonished how close your charts will match with the adopted kids as well. Everyone coming in your life has something to do with what you've done, what you are supposed to do. So these are all you can see on the charts as well, and that's what you can see from the eighth house. It Okay. So eighth house, what happens when Saturn goes through your eighth house? So it's going to signify or intensify everything that I've just spoken about. If you're someone who doesn't take care of your health, you can be someone who gets affected with a chronic disease. If depending on your age, you have to be very careful of infections or sexual diseases of all kinds. You don't necessarily have to go out and do sex with random people, but it could be something that's just you're not hygienic enough, and that causes you more disease as well. Also, hidden treasure. So there could be something that is buried under the ground, and all of a sudden it comes to your notice, and you just use it. So hidden treasures, hidden truth. A lot of people scandals would unearth during these times, or you may get into a scandal as well. So it could be a beginning and the end of it, something old. Um, if you have any injuries to your knee, because Capricorn, remember Capricorn is your knee, okay? The sign Capricorn is your knee, and eighth house is basically injuries as well. So Saturn coming here, it could cause an injury to your knee. You may go through a surgery, you may injure yourself playing sports, or there may be some quarrel between your family members. You trip over and you get hurt. Eighth house is also fight between the family members because there's a lot of misunderstanding because when Saturn comes there, it's going to dry up. Eighth house is water, okay, and when the Saturn comes here, it's kind of a dry air, okay, so it's going to kind of evaporate or warm the eighth house. It's cold, okay, it's not warm. Sorry. Visiting a foreign country in an adverse condition. So if you travel, sorry. So if you travel to a foreign country during the transit of eighth house Saturn, one of the things that you have to look for is that you will go through a worse adverse condition. You will go through situations that you hate. You didn't anticipate to be in that situation in a foreign country, but you may end up doing things that you never thought you will be doing. Okay, so that's basically your eighth house. Eighth house is also your in-laws. So it may be time when you see you may have additional responsibilities from from your 8th house. That is basically your in-laws. So there may be something that you have to take care of your in-laws. They come over to you. You may have fights with your in-laws and so on and so forth. So there is definitely an input of in-laws if you're married, and if your in-laws are alive. It may restrict or put pressure on your spouse's income or spouse's revenue generation. So it's one of the houses where there will be a lot of pressure for your spouse in terms of if she's earning or he is earning. There could be some pressure, which is or blockages in terms of receiving those resources. So basically, it will put more pressure on you because now your partner is not going to be able to help you. So that's basically your 8th house. Now going on to the next one. So Saturn is aspecting with the third aspect. It's going to aspect it's going to look at the 10th house. So 10th house, look at the first. I'm going back to the first slide. 10th house is your career, your prestige, your profession, father, public image. How public look at you, people look at you, and mother-in-law, and so many other things as well. But because of the lack of space, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So 10th house. Saturn's third aspect to the 10th house will bring turmoil in your profession. It's going to take it. It's going to make you think and rethink, why did I choose this profession, or it may even make you think that what is going on. Everything was okay. I was just promoted. I was given more work and all that stuff. I was about to get an increment and whatever, but now you're not able to get it. So that's basically your Saturn looking at the 10th house. It can bring new challenges. It can bring you new kind of work in your career, something that you're not comfortable with. Let's say, for example, you are in the purchase department, and all of a sudden they bring in a new system in the company, and they tell you have to get used to it because everyone else is going to get used to it, and you're completely not going to get used to it because maybe you avoided the new technology, or you're not so comfortable working with the technology. But all of a sudden now they are making you work in that. So if you're 40s and 50s and late 50s and around 60s, this is the kind of pressure that may come into your life. This transit will make you involved in jobs that you would consider way below your pay grade. So one of the other ways to look at it is maybe there is a demotion for you because you didn't do your work good before, or they may ask you to do, your pay may not decrease, but they may give you certain responsibilities. Maybe because of whatever reasons, your junior went away and stuff. Now you have to do the work that you would have done maybe 5 years back or 10 years back in your career. And you find it difficult to digest that. Or it can bring in more responsibilities. So if not that, then the last possibility is that it will bring you so much more work and so much more responsibility. It will promote you so much that if you may start feeling the pinch of it. You may start feeling, is it really worth working here or not? It's going to make you think and rethink as why you are in that company, why you're in their profession, and so on and so forth. If you're a businessman, you may face difficulties in recovering money from your clients. You may, because 8th house is money from your clients, right? So your clients may stop giving you money, or they may delay money, or there may be more bad debts than you may consider. You may have accounted for before. Budgeted for before. You may for some reason face stiff competition for competitors. All of a sudden something happened to your competitor, and now they have more resources than you have, and all of a sudden you find yourself a lack of resources to give it to your customers. You may lose a lot of business due to this because your competitors have all of a sudden become more stronger. It may also affect your health or your father's health, because 10th house is your father. It may bring in new responsibilities to your father, or it can affect his health, or it can also bring in losses to your elder brother. So there could be losses, which is 12th from your 11th house, which is your elder brother or friends. So you may lose you may want to have a look at your brother. You may want to have a look at your your friend circle. You may lose some of your friends. You may have to be separated from there, or you may come to realize who your real friends are. So that's basically your 10th house, because remember, your image is going to change, your prestige is going to change. A lot of your friends, some of your friends who may be sticking around with you just because you have a certain image will go away from in this duration. So keep an eye out. Next is Saturn's 7th aspect to the 2nd house of Gemini, which is basically your Cancer sign. So 2nd house reveals your personal resources, just like 8th house reveals the personal resources for your wife or husband or your customers. Second house is your own personal resources. It shows your finances. It shows your money, predictable income that comes in every month, kind of, Saturn's aspect here may upset your income and add additional expenses such that you might be stretched with your current income. So basically, you may be saving your money, and you may be, whatever you are doing, maybe every month you're putting aside certain money, but now all of a sudden you are not able to do that. Or you're still trying to do that and you're finding it really difficult because your has gone down. Or your income has not gone down, you're still trying to save money, but your expenses on the other end has gone up. So any of these are possibilities when Saturn aspects your second house from seventh aspect. It may cause you to miss your meals because second house is your eating habits. It's gonna disrupt your eating routine. You may find yourself working around more hours, or you may find yourself working in different hours than you're used to, and your routine would be different. It will definitely create tensions in your family because second house is also your married family, uh, your culture, the family that you were raised in, the culture that you were raised in, and your married life as well. So you may start doubting your own culture. You may start doubting the lessons you learned from your own family, or you may be having arguments with your wife and or in the house in itself, or husband. um, the fights would majorly because of finances or food related fights. You may be forced to eat less because you have less time, or you have some problem with your mouth, or there's a doctor told you not to eat certain things, and now you have to stay away from food, or doctor told you have to, like in Tamil we call it parihar, or in in Hindi or Gujarati we call it pareji. So where you have to eat stuff that you never liked, and you would have to eat it because the doctor said it to you. And if you want to live longer, you have to eat it. So that could be one of the circumstances you may be going through. You may face problems related to kidney stone, and find yourself, the kidney stone is basically because of cancer signs. So Saturn is aspecting the cancer sign. It's basically your heart area, your middle area of your body. So, and you may find yourself limping more than or without any specific injury. Um, you may have to take additional care while eating, and to your teeth, ulcers, or root canal. So, as per Brigu Sutram, Brigu was the original astrology guru who started astrology. I'll come to the story later on. But according to Sutram is basically a formula. So according to one of the formulas that Brigu gave, he said second house would also rule the teeth, your uh, inside the mouth portion. Okay. Okay. So Saturn's 10th aspect to your fifth house. So what happens to your fifth house? What is fifth house? Fifth house is your kids, your children, your hobbies, things that you like to do in general, romance, watching movies, going to cinema, investing in the stock market, and so on and so forth. So, and it's also your pot belly. It's your stomach area. Um, uh, so that is also your fifth house. So what happens when Saturn's aspected? So all of a sudden you would be more concerned about your kids, or your kids have more responsibility. All of a sudden you would see that if you have grown-up kids, if your kids are among 20 or 30s, or maybe even in 10th or 12th grade, all of a sudden they have more responsibility. They have to do more than what they're used to or what they're supposed to. And because of that, now the responsibility falls on you because they're not able to take care of it, and now you have to take care of it. So you may see an additional responsibility because of the kid, or children in your house. You may see additional responsibility. You may be cut off from your children. Maybe your kids went away and you're now afraid of them, afraid for them. What's going to happen? And oh, I hope everything is okay, and so on and so forth. You may be separated from them. Fifth house Saturn aspect also makes you, go kind of, your life can become a little bit more boring. If you're a really interesting person, if you're someone who watches movie outside, who parties a lot, fifth house is all that. All of a sudden, you would see a huge shrinkage in those activities because it is ruling your the sign is Libra and the house is fifth. Both are like outgoing houses, and you would see that there is a big problem. Now, fifth house is also your romance. So if you have a romantic partner, you may see more fights, or you may be separated from them, or you may come to meet someone who has more Saturnian qualities. What I mean by Saturnian qualities means someone who is more mature, someone who's older than you, someone, even if they're your age, they may be more conservative, more mature, more practical in approach. So if you're meeting someone, you may meet someone like that, someone with Saturnian qualities. If for female natives, if they're pregnant already, then you may be more fearful about your pregnancy. And nothing is to worry about, but it's just something you may feel, you may think that, or doctor or the report may say something, and then all of a sudden you're panicking right now, like what the hell is going on? And newborn at the beginning of the transit. So if you have a new kid, then you may be all of a sudden be worried about the kid's health, the well-being, and so on and so forth. So that's basically your Saturn's aspect to the fifth house. So that's it for today, and I will come back with a new video soon. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and comment down below. If like and subscribe to my videos. I will be coming back in every one or the other day and coming back with new videos. And keep tuning. Take care.